I'm here with Clear Nuss-Troles. Sorry, I'm having trouble with your name.
Doesn't matter. Just leave it. It's okay.
Okay, I'm here with Clear Nuss-Troles. Clear is the mother of 2 children and 2 grandchildren. She's been a freelance midwife for 18 years in cooperation with a birth center in Germany, helping women to give birth in a safe and anxiety-free environment. She was the owner of a massage practice with 8 team members, and there she massaged and trained in healing touch, and she did this for 7 years. Claire has always been interested in wisdom of the body and the ability of the body to heal itself. She's the founder of the Trust Yourself Academy, which teaches self-healing techniques based on new scientific evidence and meditation. She currently lives in Portugal, close to Lisbon, and she organizes meditation retreats there. She has always been curious and is a perpetual student studying holistic health at the Quantum University. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Nice to have me on your call, Yeller.
Great. So I'm going to ask you some questions, Claire. What are you up to at the moment?
Well, as you mentioned before, I have always been interested in women's health. I think I started to read the first books when I was 15 or 14 even. And this was the kind of background for my whole career or every profession I chose. So being a midwife, of course, I was very close to women and their families. And I was always fascinated when you look at a woman giving birth, being supported by her partner, and it is in a safe environment. It is really a very sacred space. And there is where the wisdom of our bodies can really unfold, and we don't need to do much in order to follow this process. Of course, there are challenges sometimes, but most of the time it is working very well. And being being well prepared and knowing a lot about your own body helps a lot to go through this in a good way. And I know that after I gave birth to my second child, I thought, if I can do this, I can do everything in my life. So it never really, after being a midwife, then I had this massage practice, and this was another level where I started to perceive how wise our body is, that you really can, with one touch sometimes, release years of trauma, and people start to cry because they just feel this relief that someone is taking care of them. And in this whole study, and also what I'm doing now at the Quantum University, it never really made sense to me that when women are entering in this perimenopause or menopause, like I have been through now, that we have to develop so much symptoms. And this is what's hooked me now, because I think it is a really big issue in our society. Some women are even scared before they enter this. And I want to take this stress out, because I perceived it in a smooth way, I think. And I have learned so much that I just want to share this with other women, because I'm completely sure that suffering in menopause is not necessary.
So you're particularly interested in helping women through their menopause at the moment?
Yes, that's really something that hooked me.
And can you tell me a little bit about your own menopause?
Well, I never believed that we really have to go into a decay in this period of time. But when I then started to research and wanted to find my own information, I found it really hard to get something that was supporting me and not telling me I am somehow ill and I have to take hormones. And I found one book actually, and I'm talking about this in my course. It was from a medical doctor, and this was the only one I really found that gave me the support that I am not ill. And then I needed only a few adjustments on this level to understand, okay, my mindset, for example, is also very important. And this was maybe the biggest part I was working on, because I discovered, wow, what I think and believe, I think about menopause, and what I really think and believe about menopause, if I dig a little bit deeper and go more into the subconscious, it is like, universe.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought that. Well, I think many women don't think mindset really comes into it very much.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, but it is really deep, because, I mean, we can do everything on the surface. If we somehow buy into this and think, we are on a process which just leads us into aging and not feeling well anymore, then this will happen for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that in a way that I've never particularly bought into the idea that I'm getting old. I don't see myself as being old, and I'm able to regenerate and be as old internally or physically as I kind of choose to be, which I guess is similar.
It's exactly the same, and I think that's very interesting because I think that we are much more in charge of our health than, let's say, pharmaceutical industry wants us to be.
Yes.
And once you discover this self-healing potential in yourself, you don't step back anymore. And also you're not afraid anymore. So you become much more trustful into your body's processes. And I find this for men and women, because men, of course, it is not that obvious, but they are also going through a hormonal change, and they are starting to question where they stand in life and how they want to proceed and what they maybe want to bring out. So it is a menopause topic, but actually it is for both genders very, very interesting.
So you think there is such a thing as a male menopause?
Well, I wouldn't call it a male menopause, but what we are saying is that, men, it's called midlife crisis.
Yes.
And in women, it's called menopause problems. but basically, it is coming really together to reinvent your life in a way that is more loving towards yourself.
Okay, great. What are some of the things that you've discovered in wanting to help women with their menopause? What are some of the biggest issues for women?
I think one issue is really to learn to take time for yourself. Because we are prone to take care of others, and maybe it really feels selfish to take more time out for ourselves. At the same time, it often comes together with the children are not that needy anymore if we have a family, but it has to be a conscious decision. And this is maybe the hardest part, because I know so many women, they're constantly busy to take care of their family, their partners, their friends, that self-nourishing is really one thing we have to learn. It doesn't come naturally or easily. So it has to be a decision to do this. And I think this was the biggest part for myself too. And we are not talking about, buying a new dress or just having a manicure. It is far beyond that. We have to take care of our spiritual roots, probably. We have to take care of how we really want to express ourselves in the next 2-3 decades. So it is a very, very multi-level process. But then I came across one thing where I thought this explains so many things in a far better way, that water is really one of the big, big keys to go into menopause and not suffer probably at all. And I'm covering this too in my webinars. But when I read this book and I found that many of these symptoms which we have, or many women have, that they might be related to what water we drink and how much water we drink. It was like, I had this goosebumps all over my body. It matches what I feel, what is natural. Yeah.
Water.
Water, yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. If there is one bit of additional advice you could give to women as they enter menopause, what would it be?
It would probably be to take their feelings really seriously. Because what I often perceive from women is that they feel they start to become like maybe a little bit aggressive. Or they feel that they are not that well tempered anymore, or not that nice anymore sometimes. Of course, it's not that we should run around and shout at other people because we feel in a way frustrated, but we should take serious what kind of feeling lies behind that. because it often comes from an urge that just wants to come out and hasn't found really a way to be expressed. So it can be really that we become angry towards our partner because we're not taking care of ourselves. Yeah, and we just have this feeling, you know, we are doing everything for someone else, but not for us. And this could be the cause of, you know, being bad tempered or having outbursts. At the same time, it can be many different levels. And of course, balancing our emotions is also important. But we should not, we really should not try to make this going away by taking any pills or hormones or I think really from the medical standpoint, only a very small percentage of women would need hormones if they have really health issues. All the other women who are basically healthy, this is a time to explore what's inside of you and that wants to come out. And if it sometimes comes out as a little explosion, you know, be nice to you, get over it, but find the root of it.
Yeah, great. Is there anything else that you want to say about your new your program that you help women with menopause?
Yeah, I mean, I was so interested in this topic that I started to really put a website online, which is called Menopause Wisdom Online, because I wanted to address this topic. And when I started to research, I found that there are some women outside who are already doing this, but it's not that many. And I think it still has to become far more and also accepted in the society. Many times people talk to me and say, you know, yeah, but it is a taboo to talk about it.
Really?
And I think, you know, yeah, it probably depends on the society. But it can be, you know, like many men say, you know, it's a women's topic, I'm not interested. Where I think, you know, this is the biggest ignorance you can show towards a woman, saying, you know, I'm not interested in what you are going through.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, so, I think it's definitely not a topic that I've heard a lot about. You know, I mean, I have friends who've gone through menopause, obviously, and they've you know, they've told me a little bit, but it's not a big topic of conversation, you know, and it's not. And you don't see very much in the media about it. I mean, I don't know about women's magazines. Is it a topic that is you know, is it covered in that?
It is covered, yes. I think it is often a topic, but most of the time not in a good way. Most of the time it is like, you know, how do you get rid of hot flashes? And is hormone replacement therapy safe or not? I see very little this approach that it is just a natural phase and that we don't need medication for it. And we have to understand what's happening. And this is why I've put up this website. And with my medical background as a midwife, of course, I already know a lot about women's bodies. So I'm really also teaching what is exactly happening in your body. And it is not only a decay of hormones, you know, there is much that comes out and gets more. So you have more creativity, you can have more energy if you do it in the right way. You stop to be this woman society wants to be, and you start to become more yourself. And this is exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I did hear my ex-wife talking about, it's the beginning of wisdom, you know, that for her, it was a transformative experience.
Absolutely.
Where, you know, she felt that she was becoming, it was definitely a transitional stage. It's a major transitional stage into one of more, what was for her, it was a kind of wisdom and sharing with, you know, sharing herself, her wisdom as a woman, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. So nice that you have had a partner that has already this insight on it. Yeah.
My current partner, actually, my girlfriend, she went through menopause when she was 17 because she she got cancer
Okay.
and has been on hormones ever since. When that's very unusual. And she's not gone through menopause because she went through it back then.
Yeah. Yeah, but this exactly covers what I'm saying, you know, that if you have a medical problem, then hormones
Mm,
are needed. But if you don't, you should at least question it and find other ways to deal with it, because
mm,
we now know that this hormone replacement therapy, basically, I think everything what you do to your body on a long term, which is not really needed,
mm.
uh, we have no idea what we are doing with the system. I mean, we have a body which has 50,000 billion, 50 billion cells. So if you
Yeah.
think of this as little entities who have to communicate with each other and who are working in a system that is basically taking care of itself all the time, how can we run around and say, you know, we put this in and it doesn't have an effect,
Yeah.
or only a limited one and we can measure it?
This is a little bit off topic, but I did a ayahuasca retreat
Yeah.
last year, and one of the experiences I had while on ayahuasca was I could see the way that all the systems in my body were interacting,
Wow.
and it was totally mind blowing. You know, we have so many different systems within our body, from the blood circulation, the electrical system, the chemical, everything is incredibly, it's like the most complicated machine you can imagine as a biological machine. But not only that, it's also connected to the universe through its
Mm.
energetic systems, and so it's a very, very complex thing. So giving it some chemical is going to have an effect, yes, but it's not, you've got to see the body holistically, because it's a
Exactly.
dynamic system that always changes. And it has, the mindset is one aspect of it, and I think, to my mind, the mindset is a very important part, like you said,
Yeah,
because it's like the intent which drives the system. But the complexity is truly astounding.
absolutely. Yeah.
Mm,
And it's exactly what you say, you know, these are so many systems working together. And probably what I found also in some women who have gone through perimenopause and then they are now in menopause, I don't like this word at all, you know, we are not pausing. We are full of energy.
mm,
That they also start to become a little bit like, I don't know exactly the English expression, but if you think, you know, oh, this is how it will be now for the rest of my life. So they accept, for example, that they have less sexual desire, or
mm.
that they are less sexual responsive, or other things that are really affecting their well-being. And what I experienced just with going through this in a maybe different way is that this doesn't have to be the case at all. The body is so, if you give it the right treatment in terms of really a holistic treatment, and really counting on also on water, we don't have to feel that way at all. So I'm also addressing women who are in menopause, but have the feeling that not everything is functioning like it did when they were really full of energy, because I know now how we can reverse that.
Fantastic. Well, that seems like a good place to end this on. So thank you very much, Claire. It was a pleasure. Is there
Was
anything
lovely.
else you want to say before we finish?
Go to my website, check out, get every free content you can get, and share it with other women.
Thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you so much, Yellow. It was a pleasure.